go over to on YouTube to Darwin's Greatest Hits. Yeah, go to Darwin's Greatest Hits.
I want to ask Darth Dawkins how Gnosticism entails atheism. How was that?
Because upon analysis of the premise of agnosticism, it entails an indirect denial of God.
How so?
How is that indirect denial?
Because agnosticism asserts that it makes no claim about ultimate reality, but that statement is a claim about ultimate reality by virtue of the underlying premise that one need not state an ultimate foundation in order to have intelligible facts. So when the agnostic says, I make no assertion about ultimate reality, either that's true or it's false. The answer is it is false, because the claim to say, I don't make an assertion about ultimate reality is an implicit claim that they do not need to invoke ultimate reality in order to invoke one or more facts. Okay? You got to, I'll go over that again. The agnostic claim to not make an assertion about ultimate reality implicitly is the claim that they need not stipulate ultimate reality in order to invoke one or more dependent facts. Okay? Now, if you can verbalize or invoke an intelligible fact without reference to ultimate reality, any fact at all, the fact could be simply such as, I do not know that I have a $5 bill in my pocket. Okay? That statement actually is, I know that I do not know I have a $5 bill in my pocket. So if you say, I make no claims about ultimate reality, then the person implicitly is holding that it is not needed to invoke ultimate reality in order to utter one or more facts. You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can invoke one or more facts or knowledge statements without reference to ultimate reality, then that is an indirect denial of God, being that God would be one aspect of ultimate reality, God or not God, right? So if you can invoke one fact, metaphysically, the apple on the counter it exists, it is viable, and it is intelligible without reference to stipulating ultimate reality. That position denies the existence of God indirectly.
At best, it would indirectly deny the existence of Darth's God. He can still be agnostic about God in general. Summing up, Darth thinks that if you think that you can invoke one fact, such as your agnosticism, without reference to God, then you deny God indirectly. Here is an alternative view to Darth's. Medievals made the distinction between the order of being and order of knowing. For example, Thomas Aquinas believed that God is the ground of existence for all other beings. Hence, in the order of being ontology, God is primary. However, humans come to know finite objects through their senses first and must infer the existence of God from God's effects. Thus, in the order of knowing, epistemology, finite objects precede God.
I went over this 3 times with you, that agnosticism is a contradiction. I can give you another argument to show you that agnosticism is a self-contradiction. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
Okay, agnosticism is the claim that you do not know that any creator God exists, right? I do not know whether God exists or does not exist. I do not know that any God does exist or does not exist. Now, Christianity, by definition, entails that the God of the Bible exists and he has made himself to be known. If it is true that you do not know that any God exists, then from that statement, your position necessarily entails the falsity of Christianity. Are you aware of that?
I guess, yeah.
Right. So if your position is true, that you do not know that any creator God exists, then it necessarily follows the falsity of Christianity according to the definition of Christianity that the God of the Bible has made himself known through natural revelation, right? But you see, if your position is true and it necessarily follows that Christianity is false, then you know that one of the major contenders for the existence of God does not exist. Therefore, contradicting your position that you do not know that any God does or does not exist. Then you know that one God does not exist, contradicting your position. So that's the second argument that I've shown you how agnosticism is a self-contradiction.
Darth thinks that if you deny the Christian God, you can't be an agnostic. This, then, must make his interlocutor an atheist since agnosticism is ruled out. This would lessen the burden on the atheist, since all he has to do is show that a single God doesn't exist, instead of all gods.
But you see, you're not going to hear this in a philosophy class.
And that's not the sort of thing you're going to hear at the university.
Because the overwhelming majority of philosophers out there, they're not Christians.